Section 15. Twelfth fret on the G string, bend up a whole step, then release the bend and pull off to the 10th fret. Back to the 12th fret of the G, bend up a whole step. Staccato hit on the 13th fret of the B. Then a half step bend, 12th fret of the G string, which is then released. Slide down. Then 7 to 9 on the G string. Hit the 9th fret again on that G string and bend up a half step. Then release the bend and slide down to 7. So I'm going to recap that. Okay, section 16. Okay, we have 5th fret on the D string, really dig in there and pull off to the 3rd fret. 5th fret on the A string. Then the top half of a D power chord, which is a double stop on the 7th fret of the D and G strings. Then the 5th fret on the A string. Then the same kind of double stop idea, top half of a C power chord, 5th fret of the D and G strings. Slide that up to the 7th fret, then back down to the 5th. Okay, then 7th fret of the D string. 7th fret of the G. Then slide from the 7th, I beg your pardon, the 5th fret to the 7th of the D string and back. 5th fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D, 3rd fret of the D, one of those trills between 2, 3 and 2 on the D string, back to the 5th of the A string, 2nd fret of the D string, and then 3rd, 2nd on the G string, then 3rd of the G string sliding up to the 5th fret, and hammer on to the 7th fret. Section 17. Fifth fret of the B string, bend up a half step and then release the bend. Then a pre-bend, half a step and release that. And then hammer on between the 5th and 7th fret of the D string. Then the last little touch there is a double pull off between the 7th, 5th and 3rd frets of the D string. Section 18. So we're spelling out the chords of the song. We've got the 13th fret of the top E string, then the 15th of the B, and the 14th of the G. Then the 13th on the top E again, and the 12th, 13th on the B, and the 12th on the G. Slightly different move, similar melody. 10th fret of the B string, 10th fret of the top E, 12th fret of the top E. Same note again, this time with a half-tone bend. Back to the 10th fret, and skip over to the G string for a whole tone bend with a bit of vibrato. Section 19. Similar to the previous section, really, 13th fret on the top E, then the 12th, 13th on the B, and the 12th on the G. You hold that and slide down like so. Section 20. Okay, slightly more flamboyant version of the same thing, sliding up to the 10th fret of the B string, then the 10th fret of the top E, 12th fret, 12th fret again with a semitone bend, 10th fret of the B, 12th fret of the G, bend that up a whole step and give it a good wobble. Then staccato hits on the 10th and 13th fret of the top E, one after the other. Then the 12th fret of the top E, 13th fret of the B, and 12th fret of the G. We'll give that a wobble and slide it down. Section 21. Like the middle section, the guitar's volume is reduced slightly to clean the sound up a bit. We're starting on the B string and it's the 8th, 6th, 5th and 6th, like this. Then back to the 8th with a whole tone bend, 8th with no bend, 6th and the 5th. Section 22. As you can see, the attack is taken away by me violining in the notes with the guitar's volume control. So I'm hitting the notes first in most cases, sometimes just hammering them on, whichever's easiest depending where you're picking, so experiment with that. I'm starting on the 7th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the G, 6th fret of the B, then the 5th, then the 8th, 8th fret of the top E, 12th fret of the top E, 10th of the top E, up to the 13th, then up to the 15th with a whole tone bend, then a straight note on the 15th, no bend, then the 12th fret. Then there's a pause as the kind of piano and synth chords change, and the very last part of the song is the 7th fret of the G string, and 7th fret of the D, and I quite like to hammer these on, 4th fret of the D, and then the 5th fret of the A. So that's Empty Rooms.